Record. Okay, so forEach. forEach is a function. It's technically going to be a method on the array prototype, which means every array that we create is going to have access to this forEach method natively. We don't have to write out what forEach does. As soon as we create an array, for instance, here in Node, terminal, oops, I have an extra thing there. Try this one more time. One more try. Coding live. Okay, so now I have this array. As soon as I type this array, right, it knows that the type of that this is an array that I've created. When I type dot, I have access to all of these built-in methods, and we can see that forEach somewhere is one of them. forEach. So let's go back to the documentation. What is it asking for? It's asking for a function, right? They're calling it a callback. These square brackets mean that it takes that this second parameter is optional. Square brackets, optional parameter. We're not going to dive into this right now. We're going to focus on it takes a callback function. So something to pay attention to when you're asked to provide a function to a function as a parameter is knowing what kind of parameters that callback function is going to need to accept when it gets executed. So we can see this forEach method. It's going to execute our provided function once per array element. So if I'm calling forEach, excuse me, on an array with 3 elements, the function that I give it is going to get invoked 3 times, once for each element. So the parameters that this callback function is going to need to take are the current value, the index, and the array. The current element being processed in the array, the index of the current element, and the entire array that forEach is being applied to. So just like we had done before with set interval, I can simply, when I invoke forEach, let me clear this out, never mind, write that function on the spot, right? I know it needs to take 3 parameters because in the documentation it said, hey, your function is going to take 3 parameters. It's going to take the current value, if I can spell, it's going to take the index, and it's going to take the array as a whole. So I've created this structure of this function, right, that I need to pass. Oh, yeah, forgot that I got to hit Shift Enter. Or that's not working. Inside, I've created the structure of this function that I'm passing, this callback function, and I can do whatever I want inside these brackets. I'm just declaring it. So if I want a console.log something, I can say, man, hard to do this in Node here. We'll say value at.
Maybe rather do it in Sublime next time when we have to build in there. Maybe it's better.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I'll just switch to Sublime here. I know I'm running out of time, so if anybody is like, hey, I got to leave right when this is over, feel free. We'll just have a new Sublime window. Okay. Okay, var array equals 1, 2, 3, array.forEach. Okay, I know that it needs to take a function, so I'm just going to write the function signature out. I know the parameters that this callback function needs to take are value, index, and the array as a whole. So inside this function that I'm passing, this callback function, I'm just going to write whatever I want. I'm going to say console.log value at index, let me say, sorry, index, in array Let's just put this on the desktop. So when I run this, forEach takes this function and invokes it once for every element in the array. So first it's going to invoke it on 1, 2, and then 3. So we see it prints out. Even my spacing is kind of bad. First it says value is going to be equal to 1 at index 0 in array 1, 2, 3. Then I get 2 value at index 1, 3 value at index 2. Just like with setInterval, I can create that function elsewhere as a named function and pass it in. I could say var logger equals a function, takes these same parameters. I'm just going to copy this. And then instead of creating this function on the spot, I can just pass in this named function and get the same results. So when you're asked to use a new function like forEach, check it out on MDN. Okay, array takes this function, it takes a callback. What kind of parameters does that callback function need to be able to handle? It needs to handle current value, index, and array. As a last topic, because I know we're a little bit over time, we know that in JavaScript, arguments and arrays we don't have to necessarily pass it all the arguments that the parameters ask for, right? If all I really care about is value, then I can just create a function that only deals with that parameter. If I run this now, I don't get any undefines, I don't get any errors. I've just only given it 1, even though it asked for 3. If I'm ignoring the other ones, it doesn't really care as long as I'm giving it 1 that's valid. Cool. I know we went through that like at lightning speed. I just wanted to touch on forEach and talk a little bit about how to include underscore if you wanted to dive into that before tomorrow. And then make sure tomorrow, 9 a.m., we have a meeting with Josh Shaman. Any questions so far?
Yeah, could you just repeat what you said about underscore while we're recording?
Yes, so underscore, if I wanted to use underscore in JavaScript, we'll just create a new HTML file. Well, I guess that would take longer than this recording would happen. You find a CDN for JavaScript, so just for underscore. So CDN underscore.
Can you share screen too?
Oh, I thought it was sharing. Dang it. Man, I'm all over the place there. Zoom, share screen. So just Google CDN for underscore. You'll find one eventually here that works. And you're going to add it in just like you added in jQuery. So add a script tag at the top of your HTML document, include underscore, and then in that same HTML document in a script tag, you'll be able to use all of the underscore methods. I was telling your group that the quick and dirty way, if you just want to try some underscore methods, is any web page that has included underscore, you will then have access to it in the console. So for instance, this is the underscore js.org page. So obviously they have underscore included in theirs. So I can just use it in the console, right? Here I'm using one of their methods, underscore.first, 1, 2, 3. If I tried to do this on a website that wasn't using underscore, this would error. It would tell me that it can't find this object underscore. So quick and dirty, go to the underscore.js website, type in the console. But what you're going to want to do is add it as a CDN script tag to your HTML so that you can more easily do multi-line things and manipulate it. Okay, everybody good?
I have a question slightly off topic though.
Yeah, go ahead. I got time. If nobody else does, you can jump out.
What was the application you were using with the green font?
Oh, that's Terminal.
Oh, was that just Terminal?
Yeah, you can pick a.
Well, it also says Node up there. What does that mean?
Oh, up here, I've started Node. Right, here, I'll hit cancel it. It just tells me that Node is running.
And Node is just a REPL for JavaScript?
Yeah, so this is another way that you can get like a REPL for JavaScript that's not your Chrome console, right? If I type node, I get the same caret that I get in Chrome, right? This looks just the same, telling me that I can execute any JavaScript here. So 2 + 2, it's going to tell me 4. It's a little tougher to do multi-line stuff in here, just like it is. I thought Shift Enter worked, but it didn't seem to work for me before.
Well, it could work just like any shell. The difference being it's running JavaScript, right?
Right. So typically, like at the shell, when I'm not running Node, I'm just kind of like navigating around my computer, and I'm running like a Bash script. I can do things like make directories or move things around, edit some things. But Node specifically opens up like a JavaScript runtime. So these things that I'm doing, they're not being like saved anywhere. They're not affecting my computer. It's just kind of opening up a portal for me to run JavaScript. I can also, let's see, need to find a file. Oops.
And okay.
Let me see if I can find a JavaScript file here really quick. Okay, there's script.js. I can also type node script with a JavaScript file. And it's going to, well, of course I have one that has a prompt in it, evaluate everything that's in that script file. So let's see. I find one that actually has some, let's see, week. Did we have one today? Yeah, we did. Week 3, day 2. Okay, let's try this one. Still have errors in them. All right, but yeah, actually, no, here we go. So this is the same stuff that we had before, right? About to return inner. Let me clear out my terminal here, and so we can see it a little better while I'm still in Node. What the heck? Know what I've done, because that should typically work to clear out the terminal. But in any case, if you type in Node and then point it at a file that has JavaScript in it, it will evaluate it for you and print it out here.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Nice. This chat's awesome. Don't forget to sign up. There's office hours available if you guys want to just go over more examples, talk more about the stuff that we are going through in class, or just chat about whatever. Sign up. Come meet up with Zan and I, and